This is the story of the woman who thought she was broken. There was a woman named Claire who had been in therapy for 3 years, trying to heal from childhood trauma and build healthier relationships. Despite working with several different therapists and trying various approaches, she still felt fundamentally flawed. "I've been working so hard," she told her current therapist, Dr. Martinez, during what felt like another frustrating session. "I've done cognitive behavioral therapy, EMDR, inner child work, and spent thousands of dollars trying to fix whatever's wrong with me. But I still feel anxious in relationships. I still struggle with low self-worth. And I still react defensively when people get too close." She sighed deeply. "Maybe I'm just too damaged. Maybe some people can't be healed." Dr. Martinez listened with compassion, then did something unexpected. She walked over to an old cabinet in the corner of her office and pulled out what appeared to be a tarnished, cloudy mirror. "I'd like to show you something," she said, placing the mirror on the table between them. "This belonged to my grandmother. When she passed away, I found it in her attic, looking exactly like this." Claire looked at the mirror, puzzled. Its surface was so clouded with tarnish and grime that it barely reflected anything at all. "Can you see yourself in this mirror?" Dr. Martinez asked. "Barely," Claire replied. "It's too dirty and tarnished. Do you think this mirror is broken? Do you think it has lost its ability to reflect?" Claire examined it more closely. "No, I think it just needs to be cleaned. The mirror itself is probably fine underneath all that tarnish." Dr. Martinez nodded and pulled out a soft cloth and some silver polish. "Would you like to help me clean it?" Claire felt confused about where this was going, but something about the gentle invitation drew her in. Together they began working on small sections of the mirror, carefully removing layers of tarnish and grime. As they worked, Dr. Martinez asked, "Claire, what do you think created this mirror's ability to reflect?" "Well, nothing created it," Claire said, pausing in her polishing. "Mirrors are made to reflect. That's their nature." "Exactly. And what do you think our cleaning is doing?" Claire was beginning to understand. "We're not creating the mirror's ability to reflect. We're just removing what's covering it up." "Yes," Dr. Martinez said softly. "We're revealing what was always there." They continued working in comfortable silence. Slowly, section by section, the mirror's surface began to emerge. What had looked hopeless and permanently damaged revealed itself to be a beautiful, perfectly functional mirror that had simply been obscured. When they finished, Claire could see herself clearly in the restored surface. But more than that, she was seeing something profound about her own healing journey. "Claire," Dr. Martinez said gently, "what if you're not broken? What if you were never broken? What if, like this mirror, you have an inherent capacity for love, connection, and wholeness that has simply been covered over by layers of painful experiences?" Claire felt tears welling up as the truth of this settled in. "You mean all this time, I've been trying to create something that was already there? What do you think?" Dr. Martinez asked. "When you were a child, before the hurt and trauma, do you remember moments of pure joy, connection, or love?" Claire nodded, remembering her 5-year-old self dancing in the backyard, completely free and alive. "Yes, I remember feeling so open and loving, but that feels like a different person." "What if it's not a different person? What if it's your true nature, temporarily covered over by protective patterns that you developed to survive difficult experiences?" Claire sat quietly, absorbing this radically different perspective. "So therapy isn't about fixing me or building something new. It's about carefully removing the protective layers that are no longer serving me. What do you think?" Dr. Martinez asked again with a knowing smile. Over the following months, Claire's approach to healing transformed completely. Instead of seeing herself as fundamentally damaged and trying to add new skills or insights to fix her brokenness, she began to recognize her defensive patterns as tarnish that had accumulated to protect her mirror-like essence. When anxiety arose in relationships, instead of judging herself as still broken, she would gently recognize it as an old protective pattern and breathe into the loving capacity that existed beneath it. When she caught herself in negative self-talk, instead of fighting against it or adding more positive affirmations, she would simply notice it as grime on her inherent self-worth and let it go. The healing process became gentler, more organic. She wasn't trying to become someone new. She was allowing someone who had always existed to shine through more clearly. The Buddha taught that we are not trying to become enlightened. We are trying to remember that we already are. This same principle applies to all forms of healing and growth. Think about your own journey of self-improvement, therapy, or personal development. How often do you approach your challenges from the belief that something is fundamentally wrong with you that needs to be fixed or built from scratch? What if instead your core nature is already whole, loving, and wise? What if the anxiety, depression, relationship patterns, or limiting beliefs you struggle with are like tarnish on a mirror, real and obscuring, but not permanent and not who you truly are? This doesn't minimize the reality of psychological pain or the value of therapeutic work. The tarnish on Claire's mirror was real and did prevent it from reflecting clearly. But the solution wasn't to create a new mirror. It was to patiently and lovingly remove what was covering the mirror's natural capacity. Claire's story reveals something profound about the healing process. When we see our problems as evidence of fundamental brokenness, we often approach healing with desperation and self-judgment. We try to force transformation or add new qualities to compensate for our perceived deficiencies. But when we understand that our essence is already whole, healing becomes a gentler process of recognition and release. We are not trying to become someone different. We're allowing our true nature to emerge from beneath layers of protective conditioning. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of fighting against difficult emotions, we can recognize them as temporary clouds passing over our inherent clarity. Instead of judging ourselves for having problems, we can approach our patterns with curiosity and compassion. The Japanese concept of original face points to this same truth. Before all our experiences, conditioning, and learned patterns of protection, there exists an essential self that is naturally open, loving, and whole. Dr. Martinez's mirror cleaning wasn't a therapeutic technique. It was a living metaphor for what all genuine healing involves: patient, gentle removal of what obscures our true nature, revealing the wholeness that was never actually lost. Tonight, as you think about areas of your life where you've been trying to fix or improve yourself, consider Claire's discovery. What if you don't need to be fixed? What if you need to be uncovered? What layer of protective tarnish might you be ready to gently polish away, not to become someone new, but to reveal the luminous being you have always been underneath? The Buddha said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." The same is true for peace, confidence, joy, and every quality you've been trying to develop. It's already there, waiting to be revealed through the gentle, patient work of cleaning away what covers it. Like the mirror in Dr. Martinez's office, you are not broken. You have never been broken. You are simply temporarily obscured.